Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Saturday, November 29th. Ian Cameron with you. We got Alex B. Smith will join us in progress later on in the show. Ryan Robinson's a scratch today. He usually joins us on Saturdays, but Thanksgiving weekend, he'll have the day off, if you will. And we're here, though. I'm here. Alex will be along momentarily as well, and ready to break down another big card here for this Saturday. It's a massive slate once again. We've got 11 games on tap here for this Saturday, 3 afternoon games, and then everything else taking place tonight. So looking forward to talking about that. We'll recap, obviously, a huge Black Friday it was yesterday in NHL action. Massive card, but bit of a disappointing one from a betting standpoint. Certainly could have been a lot better than it was. There's a couple games that kind of flipped at the end in a negative direction, but still very entertaining. Started out well with we had a small piece of the Tampa-Detroit over. Tampa with a 6-3 win. The Rangers dominate a shorthanded Boston team 6-2 on the road against the Bruins, where the Rangers continue to be playing their best hockey of the season away from home. What a win, too, for the Minnesota Wild. And this was a good call on my part. This was another game where, again, we had a nice start to the day, and this was a big part of it. We took Minnesota money line and the draw. I was on both of those. Once Jesper Wallstedt was in, it was a very impressive. I thought, hey, I know Colorado has got one regulation loss on the season, but Minnesota's on a win streak. Minnesota's getting this very rich price as a home underdog here in this spot. I thought it was worth taking, especially once we knew Jesper Wallstedt was going to be the starting goaltender for Minnesota. And they find a way to get a 3-2 victory yesterday over the Colorado Avalanche in a shootout. Very, very good win for Minnesota because, look, not many teams have been beating the Colorado Avalanche this season. So great win for Minnesota. Nothing really to worry about here for the Colorado Avalanche. Look, you're not going to go, you're not going to go 80 or 77-5, whatever their record is. So, like I said, very solid win there for the Minnesota Wild, and they continue to play really good hockey, and they're getting some outstanding goaltending from really both guys. Because Gustafsson, remember, if you recall, had a shutout against Pittsburgh recently, and I think the fact that Wallstedt has been playing so well, pushing so hard to get more starts and more opportunity in net, it's kind of fueling Gustafsson to step his game up as well. And it's a nice situation to have if you're Minnesota in net. What else did we see yesterday? We saw St. Louis 4-3 against the Ottawa Senators. Yesterday, they come back and they beat the Sens in that game by a score of 4-3, even though they were down 2-1 in that game. We'll see if the Blues can build on this. How many times have we seen the Blues recently win a game and you think, well, maybe this is going to be the ignition, to get this team turned around and starting to play better hockey, and it just doesn't happen. So I got to see it before I believe it as far as trusting this team to win, 2 games in a row. We'll see if they can follow that up. They're one of many teams playing a back-to-back here today. How about the Calgary Flames, man? 5-3. This was a good result. The only bet I really liked here was the over. Actually, I did have Florida first period puck line. That lost. It was a small bet, though. The over was what I had more on in that game, and obviously easy as it gets. Calgary starting to score goals, and like I said, that's now Calgary starting to become a bit of an over trender here in recent games after starting the season as a team that wasn't giving up a ton of goals and wasn't scoring a whole lot of goals. But great performance from the Flames yesterday. They got contributions from 5 different goal scorers yesterday: Farabee, Kadri, Frost, Weegar, Kuznetsov. So, yeah, very, very solid as far as Calgary there in that game. Now, Tarasov got the start for the Florida Panthers, so you do have to factor that in. But I wouldn't, take it all away from Calgary. That was a good road game. That was a great bounce back after a brutal night for them against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Flames, give them credit for that 5-3 win. And again, that's now 4 wins, I should say, in their last 5 games for the Calgary Flames. What a comeback by the Anaheim Ducks. That was another. I kept the bet small once I knew Luka, and that's the big news. Lukas Dostal is out 2 to 3 weeks. That's very unfortunate with how well he's played and how important he is to this Anaheim team. So once he was not in net, and once I found out it was going to be Ville Husso who got the start for the Anaheim Ducks, I said, I don't like Anaheim nearly as much, but I still bet him, at a plus price. And what a comeback by them. They were down 4-2 early in the third. Minchikov and Leo Carlson tie it, and then they get the shootout victory 5-4 over the LA Kings. So a great comeback win there for Anaheim in that game. It's going to be interesting to see now with the good news for Quenneville is even though Dostal will be missed, Mrazek's a veteran. He's capable of playing well. He's a little more erratic at this stage of his career, but he's capable of playing well. And so is Ville Husso. Ville Husso started a ton of games for multiple teams here in the NHL. So we don't want to write off Anaheim's goaltending without Dostal. They'll miss him. But like I said, they've got capable netminders when they're on their game. The Vancouver overstreak. Well, it wasn't an overstreak. It was 13-1. So there was one under during the last 14. But only the second under in the last 14 games for Vancouver yesterday as they lose 3-2 to the San Jose Sharks. We did have San Jose money line, so it was kind of a good news, bad news game. Another nice win for San Jose in that game. Like I said, nice job by them bouncing back from the 6-0 shutout loss that they suffered against the Colorado Avalanche. So nice bounce. Excuse me. Nice bounce back there for San Jose. This game frustrated me. I mean, my gosh, we had over by Fecta and we had Buffalo, which was obviously bad, wrong side from the beginning. New Jersey winning 5-0. We couldn't get one lousy goal from this damn team to at least push the full game over. And I know Alex is in the same boat, frustrated by that. This Buffalo team, man, they just drive you nuts. Like, how do you play like that at home? 5-0. It is a team that had beaten Edmonton at home, that beat Carolina at home last weekend. And here they are getting shut out at home by the New Jersey Devils, playing without Brett Pesce, their best shutdown defenseman, and still playing without Jack Hughes. It's just, you don't know what you're going to get from Buffalo half the time. And yesterday was once again proof of that. One thing I do want to say in a positive for Buffalo, Tage Thompson, good job. Well done by him. He had that hit that he took at the hands of Stefan Nason previously when the Sabres played the Devils. He said to his teammates before the game, I'm going after him for a fight, and I'm going to take care of this myself. Get that. I respect him for that. Way to go. So, like I said, great job by Tage Thompson there. He doesn't need anyone, and he's a star player. Like, he could have someone fighting his battles, but the fact he said, I'm choosing not to. And I'll take care of this, and I'll fight Stefan Nason, and I'll show that, hey, I'm not going to accept what you did the last time we met. So I appreciate what he did there. It was really the only highlight of the game from a Buffalo Sabres standpoint, for sure. So, like I said, good job by Tage Thompson. Like I said, the only good thing you could say about Buffalo in that game yesterday. First of all, how about Montreal? Because this has been a very good road trip for them. 4-1 win over the Vegas Golden Knights. Like I said, this has been a solid road trip for Montreal. Montreal team that was struggling. They beat Toronto. And then, of course, this Montreal team, they now go on the road. They beat Utah. They beat Vegas here in back-to-back games. We'll see if they are able to keep the good vibes going later today. They're playing Colorado. Very tough back-to-back. But what a job by the Montreal Canadiens. 4-1 over Vegas. Of course, we had the over by Fecta. That did not hit, unfortunately, but it was a very good performance. And Sam Montembeault, actually, we got to give him some credit, too. The guy that's had a rough year and played one of his better games of the season, stopping 30 of 31 shots for the Montreal Canadiens in that game. And Vegas just continues to be underwhelming, disappointing. I don't know what the word is, but their home record, nobody's fearful of T-Mobile anymore. Nobody. Vegas does not have this great, spectacular home record right now, and that continues to be an issue for them as well. They have definitely not played their best hockey on home ice, and they lose 4-1 to Montreal in that game. The Flyers, 4-3 shootout win over the Islanders. This was a draw we had, so nice to hit a draw on the card. This was the one that we had that cashed in, Philadelphia and the New York Islanders, with that game going to a shootout. Flyers getting the win there, 4-3. This is the game that really hurt and frustrated. Now, I stand by what I said. I thought it was a great spot for Toronto. Played a pretty good first two periods. They're up 2-1. I thought Washington got much stronger in the third, but you still have a chance to win that game. And unfortunately, breakdowns and miscues in the defensive zone came back to bite the Leafs in the third period. 3 goals. Jacob Chychrun is Bobby Orr reincarnate right now. This guy can't stop scoring. It's been unbelievable what he's been able to do for this team. He's shooting the puck a lot, scoring, and now the consecutive game goal streak is 4 now for Jacob Chychrun. Absolutely incredible stuff. The only good news is we got a push on the over. That's about it. First period over was no good. The Leafs, obviously, after having a 2-1 lead, they lose 4-2. So disappointing loss for the Leafs. That's a game where on the road, especially when you're up 2-0 at one point, got to be able to close that game out, find a way to bring it home. Like I said, things are going to happen in the course of a game, obviously. But when you have a 2-goal lead on the road and you're desperate for wins, you kind of have to find a way to get that win nailed down. And unfortunately, the Leafs were unable to do that. The Carolina Hurricanes, 5-1. They explode. It was a 1-1 tie going into the third and 4 unanswered goals in the third period for Carolina to win that game by a score of 5-1. So a nice bounce back from them in that game. That was a game where it was mixed bag of results. We had Carolina team total over 3.5, which cashed, which was the good news. We had the first period over, which lost, but we got a push on the full game over. So it's kind of win, loss, and push pretty much in that game with the Jets and the Hurricanes. But nice win for Carolina after the consecutive losses they suffered. They lost to Buffalo at the end of the road trip and then to the Rangers at home in the previous game before this one. We saw Pittsburgh beat Columbus 4-3. Good overtime win. Sidney Crosby, man, continues to be a marvel for the Penguins. At 37 years old, 2 goals, including the game-tying goal in the third period. Great game from him. And the Penguins beat the Jackets 4-3 in overtime. Bad loss for Chicago. You got to beat Nashville at home when you're struggling, and they could not do that. Unfortunately, they lose 4-3 to the Predators. That's now 2 wins in a row for the Predators. So 2 wins in a row have not happened for this hockey team very often, but they finally string wins together. And like I said, that's a tough look for the Blackhawks, losing that game 4-3. That's now 5 losses in a row. And this was your opportunity here in the schedule with the Dip playing Nashville at home after you faced some pretty tough teams during this losing streak. Minnesota, Colorado, I can excuse that, but it's hard to excuse some of what we saw last night. There were some egregious mistakes defensively from Chicago late in that game as well. The second period was horrible again for Chicago. They have bad second periods. They have good first periods and bad second periods, and that's got to stop. If you're going to continue to mature and get better, as a hockey team. And then I wanted to end with this game because it was the most emotional, sentimental game of the card. Utah-Dallas. Obviously, we were off the air before we heard the news with Clayton Keller. And is actually, I don't know if we were or not, but either way, obviously Clayton Keller's father passed away suddenly. It was unexpected. The night before yesterday's game, Clayton Keller made the decision. They left it up to him. Do you want to, go back home, be with your family, or do you want to stay and play? And he decided, I want to stay with the teammates. I want to play. And he decided to do that. So unbelievable, courageous decision by Clayton Keller, very much like we saw with Mark Scheifele when his dad passed away in the playoff series with Winnipeg and Dallas last year, and he still decided to play in spite of it. So heart goes out to the Keller family. It's obviously a very sad news, especially when you know it's a sudden passing as well. I just getting away from, from a betting standpoint, I already kind of liked Utah early in that game, because Dallas is coming off a good road trip. Utah, trying to get some momentum going. But then when the Keller stuff, came to light, I said, watch Utah really come out flying. And boy, oh boy, did they do that. They got out to a 2-0 lead. We had Utah first goal of the first period, Utah money line first period. So it was nice to cash those 2 looks. We mentioned them on the show yesterday that we thought the Mammoth would get out to a good start. But credit to Dallas, the comeback kids. The Stars have done this a lot. Slow starts at home, down a couple goals, come back to win. And they did that with the comeback against Utah, and they get the 4-3 win over the Utah Mammoth. Utah back in action here tonight against St. Louis on a back-to-back. So, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how that game plays out. But again, all the thoughts and well wishes and prayers and condolences certainly to Clayton Keller. Obviously, a very tough situation for him and his family right now on the passing of his dad. And like I said, to be able to say, you know what, to still after such a hard, tragic turn of events, to say, you know what, I'm still going to stick it out, play with my team here in that game last night. Yeah, you give him a lot of credit for that. No question about that. And yes, classy move by the Stars, giving him the first star of the game on the video scoreboard after the game. They put it up there. First star of the game, Clayton Keller. Incredible class, incredible gesture by the Dallas Stars. And not surprising, Dallas Stars are a first-class, well-run organization, top to bottom. And they proved it once again last night. All right, let's turn the page to Saturday. It's a big card. Let's get it underway. We'll start with the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the New York Rangers. We've got the Rangers minus 130, home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. Rangers off a win, Tampa off a lot. Tampa's actually off a win. They beat Detroit too yesterday. So both teams off satisfying victories. We'll see how this one plays out. It's back-to-back for both teams, and both teams played a day game yesterday as well. So keep that in mind. I think when you look at the goaltending matchup here for this game, obviously yesterday in the games they played respectively, we saw Shesterkin for the Rangers against the Bruins, and we saw obviously Andrei Vasilevsky in net for the Lightning in their victory against the Detroit Red Wings. So it looks like they're going to go with Shesterkin here on the back-to-back. Very interesting by Mike Sullivan to go in that direction. But yeah, it's going to be Shesterkin one more time. And I know it's Jonathan Quick is on IR, so I'm sure that is playing a bit of a role in the decision here for Mike Sullivan. But yes, interesting to see that it will be back-to-back here for Igor Shesterkin in this game. Jonas Johansson is expected in net for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Cooper's a lot less likely, in my opinion, to go with Vasilevsky on a back-to-back here. Remember, this is injury-related for the New York Rangers. This is a Rangers team that kind of has to play Shesterkin back-to-back because of the absence of Jonathan Quick right now. If you're Tampa Bay, you're more likely going to see JJ here, Jonas Johansson, get the start here on the back-to-back. We'll see how it plays out. But this is another one where, look, plus price with a team like Tampa Bay and a Rangers team that continues to struggle on home ice. I could only back Tampa in this game, but I'm probably not going to when it's all said and done, at least not pregame. We'll see how this game starts out, but I certainly kind of lean Tampa at plus money in this spot against a Ranger team that's obviously played better on the road than they have at home all season long. But like I said, not a game that I'm jumping at betting here to get the day started here. By the way, this is the first game, and it's 2 p.m. Eastern, so we don't have a very real early start time to work with here today. Alex is now with us. Alex, your thoughts here? First game, Lightning, Rangers.
Yeah, this is one I kind of wish would have been a night game instead of a day game. Both teams now having to play back-to-back and back-to-back day spots. So this is one where I want to kind of wait and see. The Rangers, they've got a great, track record of playing well on the road, but can they finally get the home scoring going? And 4 of the next 5 games at home against some quality opponents and opponents they need to beat, starting with Tampa. That's the thing I want to see. So this is one I can wait for. Maybe look for a first period over live, try and wait for that half a goal if this is kind of a low and slow start. Maybe look for Tampa to score first. I did try to take a shot with that yesterday and got burned within seconds as Detroit scored the first of that game. But that's the way I lean with that. Look, just kind of wait and see approach. If the Rangers can get their offense rolling at home, then this is a team we can start backing, certainly with totals and first period overs again, and maybe catch some value at home. So I just want to see if they can get that momentum rolling.
Yeah, and of course, winning at home has been an issue all year for the Rangers. They have won 3 in a row, but 2 of those have been on the road. Tampa on a 6-game win streak. I'm probably going to bet, I'll be honest, shit or get off the pot. I'm probably going to take Tampa Bay here. Small bet, though, because they lost badly. I remember the last time they played against the Rangers at home, 7-3 beatdown. It was just a couple weeks ago, and I was on the Rangers in that game. I love the Rangers in that spot. Tampa Bay was really banged up, multiple injuries. So you got a bit of a revenge situation here for the Lightning, and now you got the Lightning here against a Ranger team that's been worse at home. So, yeah, I think Tampa's worth a bet. Johansson's always kind of up and down what you're going to get from him. That would be the concern for sure. Johansson's been, I think he's been better at times this year, but, he's still prone to that one game where he's going to be fighting the puck like he did against Vancouver. He gave up 5 goals in that game when they lost 6-2. His numbers overall on the year, 3.23 goals against, 893 save percentage. 4-2, though, he is as a starting goaltender, though, so keep that in mind. All right, next up, we've got the second game, which is an afternoon game as well. Montreal, Colorado. Colorado minus 260, home favorites. 6.5 the total here in this game. There's a couple sixes out there, but most books here have 6.5 with the total in this game. Colorado back home after a loss to Minnesota in a shootout. Montreal continues their road trip, which has gotten off to a great start. Back-to-back wins, as I mentioned earlier, against Utah and Vegas. We'll see if they can carry it over. It'll be Jakub Dobeš clearly starting here for the Montreal Canadiens after we saw Montembeault in Vegas. We're going to see Dobeš here in this game. Likely Mackenzie Blackwood for Colorado because they went with Wedgwood yesterday against the Minnesota Wild. I'm tempted by Montreal, but the spot's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Colorado off a loss. Colorado at home. It is back-to-back for both of these teams, but it's always a little worse for the road team, I think, as far as, dealing with the back-to-back altitude factor compared to, say, the Avs having to deal with it. So Jonathan's look makes sense. I could see Avalanche first period puck line. I don't know if I'll be betting it, but I could see it. There's a case to be made for it. We've talked for a long time about Dobeš's propensity to give up a goal early in games, going back to last year. So if you buy into that, certainly Colorado could get on the board early. I'm going to maybe look at a Colorado over 1 team total in the first period is I think what I'm going to look at, where you can get that at plus money, where if they score 1 goal, you get a push, but there's a good chance maybe they hit the back, find the back of the net maybe a couple of times here in this opening period. So the Colorado team total over 1 at a plus price for the first period. I do like that a little bit here. Probably like it enough to take that. Alex, what do you think? Montreal, Colorado.
I took really small shots with the dog and draw here. This would have been larger had the Avs won yesterday. But like I said, this is a tough turnaround, even for a team at home. But to have to come back home and play another early game, I think the Habs, like I said, might be able to catch them early. But I like both teams to score in the first period, plus 156, especially with, like I said, Dobeš, being a guy who gives up a goal early, even if it's not the first goal of the game, but to give up a goal within that period. I do like that. So plus 156 on both teams to score in the first period. Took a piece of plus 210 with the Habs and plus 390 with the draw, but those are much smaller bets. Not my favorite look on the card. I would have liked this more, like I said, had the Avs won yesterday.
All right. By the way, Zach Bolduc, why not keep riding the hot hand with Zachary Bolduc? He's been great moving up to the top line. Scored a goal again yesterday against Vegas. Worth a look. I've mentioned Ross Colton a bunch of times. Arturi Lehkonen, former Hab with the Avs now, of course. I think he's worth a look. The former player angle and play there. So definitely those are a couple of props that I'd be interested in here for the Montreal and Colorado game. All right, the last afternoon game, 4 p.m. Eastern, Edmonton, Seattle. We've got Edmonton minus 150 road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Edmonton's a mess. I don't deny that. But I like how this sets up for them. They're on the road coming out of the holiday. They've had days now to think about getting absolutely waxed, destroyed, lit up in their own building by the Dallas Stars 8-3 in that brutal scheduling spot. We were all over Dallas in multiple ways there in that game. All I can say about Seattle is I've still got my concerns about can they beat some really good teams. They've beaten St. Louis. They've beaten, Chicago. They've beaten Pittsburgh. They did beat Winnipeg and San Jose, but they caught them in good spots. They caught Dallas in a real tough spot, earlier this week and couldn't beat them. Dallas was on a back-to-back after being in Edmonton, and they ended up losing that game 3-2 to the Dallas Stars. Edmonton's now been off since that Tuesday night, and to think that was the only game Tuesday night when they lost 8-3 to Dallas. The whole NHL world basically got to focus and hone in on Edmonton getting absolutely, crushed on home ice by the Dallas Stars. I think I like Edmonton here to come out strong early. I'm going to take this. Is going to go back. This is the Alex B special. First goal, first period for me. Edmonton. I like it here in this spot. Coming off that destruction against. That's my favorite look. I mean, you could talk me into Edmonton first period money line. I kind of like that as well. Full game money line's not good enough. I'll probably look for a live full game money line on Edmonton if they trail at some point. I don't want to lay minus 150 or more than that pregame. But I think the fast start for Edmonton, being ready to go from the opening puck drop probably fits here. Coming off that horrible game against Dallas, you can get plus 110 with Edmonton first goal of the first period. So I'm going to take that a little bit on the first period money line as well. Those are my favorite looks here. Yes, Jack Roslovic is a big absence because he had been playing well for this Edmonton team. Kasperi Kapanen, there's a video of it. He gets injured in practice, and he can kind of tell it's an injury that might lead to him missing a significant amount of time all over again, just when he was about to come back. And he's, he basically swings his stick at all the sticks that were there, and you can see them all just flying all over the place. And I don't blame him for being frustrated. You're about to come back and you get hurt again in practice. It's definitely frustrating. They do get Ryan Nugent-Hopkins back, which is good. So there is some good news on the horizon here for the Edmonton Oilers as far as that's concerned. So to get the Nuge back should help them a little bit. But yeah, I like those first period looks here for Edmonton coming off what happened to them the other night at home against Dallas. Alex, what do you think here, Edmonton, Seattle?
Yeah, I'm right there with you on Edmonton getting the fast looks. And I would actually tag on, along with that first goal in first period, goal in first 5 minutes, plus 172. And then I grabbed the alternate total over 1.5, plus 200 with the Oilers. Came up short with this one yesterday with Carolina, but they had a ton of good looks. I could see the Oilers having some chances enough to get at least 2 goals here in this first period. So goal in the first 5 minutes, plus 172. Oilers to score, first goal in the first period, plus 110. And then plus 200 with Oilers alternate team total in the first period, over 1.5.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't love the price full game, and I think the strongest period is going to be their first period anyway. Kind of like the Florida game. Remember when I was on them against Florida, they came out smoking in the first period, and then they kind of hung on at the end. And actually, Florida outplayed them, outshot them heavily once we got into the last period. So, like I said, I think if you're going to like Edmonton, you're going to like them early at this point in time. So, like I said, I like them early. I don't know about the full game. We'll have to see how that goes. Still some injuries, too, on the Seattle side. Capo Caco. Jaden Schwartz is also out for them, so they're battling a couple injuries as well. We got Skinner and Joey Decord projected in net for these two teams. Yeah, and Eberle. I think we mentioned Eberle the last time Edmonton and Seattle played, but yeah, might be worth a look to consider him as far as a goal prop against his old team. All right, next up, night game. First of the night games, we got Winnipeg and Nashville. Winnipeg minus 125 road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. 5-1 loss for the Winnipeg Jets yesterday against the Carolina Hurricanes. So the struggles without Connor Hellebuck continue for the Winnipeg Jets, because you look at the record since he's been out and ruled out for these few weeks. I mean, they haven't won. They lost 4-3 to Carolina, 3-0 to Minnesota, 4-3 to Washington, and 5-1 to Carolina. So it definitely has been some tough sledding here for the Winnipeg Jets in recent games, no question. However, this is Nashville. This is your soft spot in the schedule. This is your opportunity to maybe step up and stop the bleeding and snap this losing streak. And while they are 0-4 without Hellebuck, that is true. Whether it's Comrie or Milic, who got the start yesterday for Winnipeg, let's also remember they've played Carolina, Minnesota, Washington, Carolina. It's Carolina twice, Washington, and Minnesota. Those are all good hockey teams. That's a tough schedule. Now you're stepping down in class. You're playing a Nashville team that, okay, they've won 2 in a row. Okay, let's give them their credit. Let's give them their due. Beating Chicago, and of course they won the game before that as well, the Predators against Detroit, 6-3. This team has not won 3 in a row. They had only won 2 in a row one single time before these last 2 wins, but they have yet to put a 3-game win streak on the board, the Nashville Predators. And they're 0-3 on a second night of back-to-back, as Jonathan says. So I'm going to buy the dip here with Winnipeg. Minus 125. This is their spot to step up. Comrie's been rough. Comrie's given up 3 goals or more in 3 straight starts, and he's going to start here on the back-to-back. But guess who we're going to have on the other side after we saw UC Saros last night? We're going to see Useless Onanen, and this guy's worse. I can tell you that right now. He has awful numbers this year, and that also leads me to what I like. I like the over in this game. I do. I mean, a rare Nashville over. Nashville's starting to score. Maybe that Barry Trotz little unhinged moment a few days ago saying we need more fucking, we need more scoring is what he meant. Well, since he said that, they've started scoring. Nashville, they have. I mean, they put up a 6th spot against Detroit, 4 goals in the win against Chicago last night. So they've scored 10 goals in the last 2 games since Barry Trotz's little meltdown. So the offense has, apparently responded in 2 games to Barry Trotz's little meltdown moment there from his comments, obviously, earlier in the week. So 10 goals in the last 2 games for Nashville. So the offense is on a bit of an uptick. Winnipeg's has been struggling. They're struggling to score, but I think this is the spot to do it. Nashville, we know, can still give up goals. Nashville's not a great blue line. This is going to be a very weak goaltender in net who's had a very rough season, and Eustace on. And then it's time for Winnipeg to step up and start scoring. I think tonight could be the night. So that's why I like this over as well. Jets and over for me. Alex, what do you think? Winnipeg, Nashville.
Yeah, this is one where I did play Jets by themselves, minus 125, but I also will be tying Jets to over 4.5, and knocking that to a plus price. So those are my 2 plays here. Like I said, this is a spot to fade Nashville. Hawks had a absolutely atrocious second period yet again, and that was the reason why the Predators were able to get that momentum and roll on and win last night. I don't see this being a spot here for the Preds, especially with Annan in the net, to where they can continue to roll on. This is a much-needed game for the Jets, and probably the last time I'll be betting them for a while because, like I said, with this combination of Milic and Comrie, this is not going to be a team to back, like I said, against upper echelon teams. But playing down to competition here against Nashville, I like them at this price.
Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, I'm not going to make a habit of backing Winnipeg, but I do like how this sets up for them going into this game tonight against the Nashville Predators. As far as player props for this game, there's a couple. Matthew Wood, I mean, he's the one player to keep looking toward for Nashville. He's been very solid for them. Evangelista's got value probably with O'Reilly and Stamkos as well. For Winnipeg, Velarde, Morgan Barron is on the second line now. Gus Nyquist has been bumped to the second line as well with Taves and Barron. So Velarde, Barron, Nyquist, probably some value. Niederreiter might be worth a look tonight for Winnipeg too, because I know he scored against his former team before. So we'll see how that plays out here in this game between the Jets and the Predators in this one. All right, next up we've got Detroit, Boston. Detroit minus 150, road favorites. 5.5 the total here in this game. This is one where I'm just, because the number's 5.5 and Detroit's kind of trending over the last few games, scoring goals and not exactly, a shutdown team at the defensive end. I like over 5.5 here more than anything in this game. You take advantage of that total. I guess my one concern is Jeremy Swayman looked like Jerry Cheevers in his prime, earlier this week against the Islanders. He stole that game basically against the Islanders. And when he plays like that, obviously he can keep the puck out of the net. But we'll have to see if he can do that again here later this week. Detroit is starting to get some offense going. It's been a nice week as far as their goal scoring is concerned, but defensively, not so much. They have really been giving up goals the last few games, 6 in back-to-back games allowed to Tampa Bay and Nashville entering this game for the Red Wings. So 5.5 looked a little light, so we'll jump in on it over 5.5. Nothing on the side here. Lean Bruins, but I'm just going to focus more on the total. Alex, what do you think here? Red Wings, Bruins.
Yeah, it's an over by fact that I like, and I'm not waiting for this live. I'm grabbing both sides pregame, especially that over 1.5 to get minus 120 to 124 at FanDuel. As been mentioned, the Red Wings yet to lead in the first period in the last 15 games. Maybe they can chip in, but if not, they can get 2 from Boston, they'll still cash. So liking the over by factor, but a little bit heavier on that first period over.
All right. We'll keep an eye on the Boston situation here. Talbot, by the way, has been confirmed for Detroit. So it's Cam Talbot, Jeremy Swayman in net. Pasternak is still out. So he will not be back. Obviously, he's missed. Pavel Zacha, who did miss the game against the Rangers yesterday. He's day-to-day. And like I said, game-time decision. Still might return here tonight for the Boston Bruins. So we will keep an eye on that. It is worth noting that as far as props are concerned, there's definitely value on the Boston side of the equation, with Steves is on the top line with Lindholm and Geekie. So there's definitely some value right now with Alex Steves. Keep an eye on someone, too. This guy has been called up, and he looks like he's going to be on the second line with Middlestat and Husnudinov, and that's Georgi Merkulov. Keep an eye on him. He's someone that's only gotten into the game yesterday against the Rangers, but it's a guy that's, at least in the American League level, shown some ability to put the puck in the net and be a difference maker offensively. So there's definitely some value with these Bruins on the top six that are up there because of the injuries situation that they're dealing with. I think for me, I would stick with a shot with Emmett Finney on the Detroit side. He's right now still with Larkin and Raymond on the top line for them. All right, Philadelphia, New Jersey. New Jersey minus 145 home favorites. 6 the total, 5.5 actually in most spots. Some sixes to shop around for the total, which regardless, if you like the over, get the 5.5. If you like the under, get the 6. Back to the draw for me with these two teams. These are two draw magnets right now. Philadelphia played another game that went past regulation and cashed the draw yesterday against the New York Islanders. New Jersey, okay, they shut out Buffalo 5-0, but they've also played a lot of close, tight one-goal games, several of which in the last 10 have gone past regulation. So this was pretty cut and dried for me, straightforward to look at the draw here with the Flyers and Devils. Markstrom and Vladar, you would think, are going to be the goaltenders here. We saw Jake Allen play great, by the way, yesterday against Buffalo, getting the shutout, but we'll probably see Jacob Markstrom here on the back-to-back. It was Ersson yesterday against the Islanders, so we should see Dan Vladar get the start here for the Flyers. So, yeah, draw for me here with the Flyers and Devils. Alex, what do you think? Philly, New Jersey.
Yeah, this is a draw for me as well, and I took a shot with Jesper Bratt at 80-1 to get the overtime goal scorer there. So, draw plus 330 and Jesper Bratt to get the overtime winner for the Devils.
All right. New Jersey props, by the way, in this game. Grichyk scored yesterday. And he can be a little bit streaky. So I would keep an eye on him. Tyson Forster, we talked about him, playing on the top line with Noah Cates and Travis Konechny. So, like I said, he's been scored, I believe, yesterday as well up on that top line. So he's definitely worth a look there as far as getting a goal on that top line. All right, Toronto and Pittsburgh. Next up, we've got the Penguins, slight favorites. Actually, it's pretty close to even money here. You can get minus 110 here on both sides. The total here sitting at 5.5, pretty much across the board in this game. We took a shot with the Leafs. We thought it was a pretty good situation, for them yesterday. They practiced on Thanksgiving, on the road during the holiday, chance to, come together as a team. And I thought for 2 periods they played one hell of a sound, strong road game. And sometimes when the confidence is not there and, you've had a rough couple of weeks like it's been for the Leafs, and then things start to go the other way during a game against you, you can't get it back. And that's kind of what we saw with the Leafs yesterday with that third period. 2-1 lead turns into a 4-2 loss to the Washington Capitals. So I'm not on them today. I'm not against them either. Like, I'm not going to be on Pittsburgh either. Like I said, this is a, wait and see kind of a situation here for the Leafs. Obviously, Wohl got the start, and he was very good again. That's even in a losing cause. He was terrific, I thought, for the Leafs. Gave them a chance. It is worth noting William Nylander is a guy that obviously didn't play yesterday, a late scratch due to an illness. We'll see if he comes back in the lineup here tonight against Pittsburgh. Status quo, the only other injuries are Tanev, Stolars, and Carlo, the ones that we already knew about for the Leafs. I would expect Dennis Hildeby to get the start here back-to-back against the Penguins. Arturs Shilovs should be in net here for Pittsburgh. It was Jari for them in the win against Columbus last night. So I would expect Arturs Shilovs to get the start here in between the pipes for the Penguins. The only thing I have interest in here is maybe the draw. That's about it. I could see this maybe being an overtime game with the Leafs and the Penguins. We almost got it with the Leafs and Capitals, by the way, yesterday, the draw. So I think I could make a case for the draw, but other than that, if I get involved in this game, it'll be live. It'll be in-game. Alex, what do you think? Leafs, Penguins?
Yeah, it's a pass for me pregame, and probably will be a pass for me in-game as well, to be honest. There's other games I'll be watching and paying attention to, so nothing that really stuck out here.
They cannot consistently. Mohammed's point's right on. The transition of the puck from their own zone up the ice from their defenseman is horrid this year, the Leafs. Like, that's been a big part of their issue. Just transporting the puck up the ice and getting the rush going from defense to offense. It's been a big problem this year for the Leafs. And you're right, it looks like it's not just skating speed slow, it's reaction time slow. The Leafs have looked like at times, especially with some of those instances where Washington's just bringing the puck around in the third period. Like the Chychrun goal is a perfect example. Nobody picks up Chychrun. He's got all the time in the world to go hammer time past Wool for the back-breaking 3-2 goal in the third period yesterday. That's reaction time that's slow. It's not just skating speed. It's that your reaction time to killing the play in the defensive zone all year for the Leafs has been slow. Slow to react to stop plays like that. Slow to react to kill those plays in the D zone. So, again, that continues to be a big part of the issue here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I like the effort. I mean, this is even in the loss yesterday, you can't say it was a lot. That's not an effort issue. It's just you got to kill plays in the D zone when you're protecting a lead on the road, and they were unable to do it. And that's been, a bit of a thorn in their side all season. For me, with player props, I mentioned Easton Cowan, a guy that had been struggling, that finally found the back of the net a couple games ago. So there might be value there. Nick Robertson on the top line with Matthews and Nyes probably could be worth a shot here. For Pittsburgh, it looks like right now Thomas Novak with Malkin and Mantha, so he's been bumped up a little bit. Crosby and Rust, and it's been a musical chairs of who's going to be on the left wing side of that top line for Dan Muse here for Pittsburgh. And it looks like now we're seeing that Kevin Hayes, the veteran, might get that opportunity to be on the top line with Crosby and Rust. So he's not a goal scorer, Kevin Hayes. We know that, but certainly going to get a chance here to prove that maybe he can be kind of a nice fit possibly here on that top line with Crosby and Rust. So do we maybe give Kevin Hayes a shot here tonight if he is indeed up on that top line for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. All right, Utah, St. Louis. We've got Utah minus 115 road favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Back-to-back for both teams. I have no idea at the moment if we're going to see Clayton Keller play again. Is this just a one game where he decided, you know what, I'm going to stick around? Or is he going to continue to, be with the team on this current road trip and play? That we don't know. Right now, all the sites have him listed as being in the lineup and playing tonight once again. And until I hear otherwise, I'm going to assume that. But I'm just saying, don't be totally shocked if we find out later today that, maybe he isn't in the lineup and maybe he's gone back home to be with his family. I'm not saying for sure. We don't know. But like I said, it's just something you want to be aware of here in this one. As far as St. Louis goes, yeah, Jonathan's mentioned it, first period and first goal to look in that direction with St. Louis. Yeah, I don't mind that. I wish I was getting a little bit of a better price. We'll see. I'm waiting for the goaltending confirmations because I'm pretty sure it'll be Hofer for St. Louis here in this game after we saw Binnington get the start against Ottawa yesterday. And then meanwhile, Vejmelka is probably going to start for Dallas because it was a Vanacek outing yesterday against the Dallas Stars. So we probably should see Vejmelka here for Utah in this game. The draw kind of interests me in this game. That's probably what I would lean to a little bit. I have a mild lean to the over by Fecta as well, but I'm waiting for the goalie confirmations with that. Utah is starting to push a little bit pace-wise more. Offensively, starting to gather some momentum as well. The last few games, starting to score a few more goals. That's a good sign for them. No question. No question. So the over by Fecta I'm interested in, and I think the draw as well is kind of what I've got circled here for Utah and St. Louis. Alex, what do you think here? Mammoth Blues.
Yeah, this will be one that I probably will end up having the over trifecta on, but I'm going to add that 5.5 with the full game over in game. I am already on first period over 1.5 minus 122 at FanDuel. I got over or both teams to score also as well, plus 168. Like I said, that's been a hot trend with St. Louis scoring first, but like I said, we saw that with Utah as well. So I can see where both teams get on the board early in this first period. So more than likely we'll be looking for over 5.5 in game, but already on the other two legs of the trifecta in the first period pregame.
All right, there you have it. As far as props for this game, if he's in, we're going to he didn't score last night, but Clayton Keller's kind of like an emotional type of bet, if you will. Go if he plays through this obviously very difficult time that he's going through right now. I still think Yamamoto with Cooley and Gunther. There's probably some good value there with Yamamoto moved up to the top line. Braden Shen's been scoring some goals lately for the Blues, the captain. We've talked about that. Holloway has points in 3 of the last 4 games, so he's been in better form of late. So there's a couple prop considerations here for Utah, St. Louis. On we go to Buffalo, Minnesota. We've got Minnesota minus 140, 45 home favorites. The total 6 in this game across the board. You talk about how maddeningly schizophrenic the Buffalo Sabres are. Wouldn't it be crazy if they get blanked and goose-egged by a depleted New Jersey team at home 5-0, come back tonight and beat Minnesota in Minnesota? Wouldn't that be nuts? But I wouldn't totally rule it out. That's how crazy this Buffalo team can be sometimes. I'm not betting it to happen, but I'm telling you that I've seen crazier things happen. And like I said, the one thing I will say about the Sabres is that we have seen them off a really despicable performance step up and play better. Like, remember the last time they played against Calgary? It was an awful game. They bounced back and they thumped Chicago. There's been multiple instances of that where actually off a really bad game, they've actually answered the bell. But I'm not trusting them here. Minnesota's just playing too well, too strong. Everything is clicking right now. They're getting enough offense. Defensive play has been pretty solid during this run as well. Maybe a lean to the over just because obviously we're going to get Gustafsson tonight, not Wallstead. And I don't know if I trust the Sabres to keep the puck out of the net on the road. There's been some issues. Colton Ellis projected to be in net for the Buffalo Sabres as the musical chairs of goaltending continues to occur here for them. It's a different starter, it seems, every night. I kind of lean over. What I do like is the draw. I do think Buffalo competes hard enough and well enough tonight to maybe push Minnesota into overtime here tonight. Let's keep in mind, Minnesota, back-to-back games have gone past regulation. 5 of the last 8 games for Minnesota have gone past regulation. And series history with these teams, 5 of the last 10 have gone past regulation. And 3 of the last 4 in Minnesota, formerly Xcel Energy Center, now Grand Casino Arena, 3 of the last 4 meetings in Minnesota, Sabres versus Wild, have gone past regulation. 3 of the last 4. So there's enough flags here with the draw to take a shot with it, in my opinion. Alex, what do you think here? Sabres, Wild.
Yeah, I like a Wild first period puck line. I grabbed that, laying the half at plus 156. I do think they can come out to a good start. But like I said, maybe Buffalo, on the second of a back-to-back and getting shut out the way they did, they had to try and show a little bit more life and fight. And if they do, then maybe they can catch Minnesota. Like I said, the streak's not going to continue forever. So I don't want them full game. I don't want any part of I don't even want the over here either, because like I said, if Buffalo doesn't show up with their offense, then this could be just all one side for Minnesota. But I will take a small sprinkle with the draw, liking that first period puck line a little bit more in Minnesota.
Didn't score yesterday. Nobody did. Obviously, they got shut out against New Jersey, but Jack Quinn will roll it right back with him one more time. Josh Doan on the top line with Thompson and Tuck, worth maybe a look as well. For Minnesota, Urov is someone that I think's been undervalued since he's been up on the top line for the Wild with Zuccarello and Kaprizov. So going back to that well with him, I don't mind that shot, taking that either going into this game. So those are some props that are of interest to me there with the Sabres and Wild. All right, next up, San Jose and Vegas. We have Vegas minus 320 home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. I mean, I'm on San Jose here. This is now enough with Vegas trusting them as these big home favorites. Until they step up and actually win in these situations more consistently, with San Jose, this hard trying team, night in, night out. Both, and it's back-to-back for both teams, the Sharks and the Golden Knights. They both played at the same time yesterday. San Jose's got to travel, obviously. But like I said, now the one concern is Vegas has won 8 straight versus the San Jose Sharks. So they have definitely owned this series. But you start to look at what they've done here in this home favorites role, other than beating the Rangers 3-2. They lose as a big favorite to Ottawa as minus 175. They were minus 200 at close against Montreal yesterday, losing that game at home 4-1. So, to me, this is just an overpriced, struggling at home favorite. I mean, this is a 5-8 team on home ice, the Vegas Golden Knights. And you're being asked to lay minus 320. Think about this just from a pricing standpoint. You're being asked to lay minus 320 with a team that's 5-8 at home this year. It's lost 2 in a row as bigger home favorites. That alone is why San Jose, like I said, is worth a shot at this price. Plus 280, a little bit on the team total over, because, again, this Vegas defense is nothing to write home about. Look what they're doing lately. They gave up 4 to Montreal, 4 to Ottawa, 5 to Utah, 4 to Anaheim. They've given up 4+ goals in 4 straight games. You're getting a dirt cheap team total. It's like even money to get over 2.5 here with San Jose in this game. So, like I said, it's all San Jose, the value. Doesn't mean they're going to win. There's always that chance Vegas wakes up, flips a switch, and finds it here on home ice. But what evidence have they given you to warrant any sort of Vegas bets at these prices, at the baseline prices you're seeing right now with them? So, yeah, you can actually get plus 120 with this San Jose team total over 2.5 here tonight. And keep in mind, for Vegas going into this game tonight against San Jose, that we're going to get Carl Lindbaum, because we saw Akira Schmid yesterday for the Vegas Golden Knights against Montreal. Carl Lindbaum's got 0-4, okay? 0-4 with a 3.16 goals against and 872 save percentage. And he's the goalie that's in net for a team laying minus 320 tonight. And he's 0-4 in his 4 starts. So, yeah, San Jose money line team total over split. Give me the over by Fecta, too, because the one thing I am concerned about here is Nedeljkovic is going to get the start for San Jose. And at this point in time, I'm sure Alex will agree with his goalie charts. There's a bit of a difference right now with him and Askarov as far as in between the pipes for this Sharks team. He's the inferior option right now, Alex Nedeljkovic. So I like the over by Fecta here as well. Alex, what do you think? San Jose, Vegas.
Yeah, this is one where you could try and maybe get a little greedy and wait for the first period over in game and take both teams to score pregame. That would be the way I would do that, because laying 155, 160 for first period overs. I do like to play it, but the price is a little bit steep. But I'm right there with you on Sharks money line team total split, especially when I saw that team total plus 120 for an over 2.5. I certainly think Lindbaum can give up 3 goals. If it's 7-3, 7-4 Vegas, we'll at least cash with that team total. So I'm heavier on the team total, but we'll have a little piece of that money line at plus 280.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, as far as props here for San Jose and Vegas, still Braden Bowman. We've talked about him quite a bit. Still on the top line. Still worth the bet, as long as he stays on that top line for the Vegas Golden Knights. Adam Gaudette is up on the second line with Eklund and Wenberg for San Jose. So I think there's a little value there for him maybe tonight, moving up to that second line spot for the San Jose Sharks. All right, last game of this Saturday card, Vancouver, Los Angeles. Kings minus 170. Home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. Bumper Stumpers bet. We're not out till we lose 2 in a row with these Vancouver overs. I don't love this one compared to some of the other Vancouver overs I've been betting lately, but I'll take it, especially there's a couple 6s still out there. You can find over 6 minus 120 at a couple of spots. So I am on this full game over, just riding the Vancouver over streak one more time. Like I said, I don't jump off riding a streak or a trend until I lose 2 in a row with it. And that's why I'm going to take it one more time. Now, this Kings team, offensively, they can be a little Jekyll and Hyde, but I'm going to believe in it here. Vancouver's just such a porous defensive team right now that I think that even LA, is going to be capable on home ice of scoring goals. And, they did score 4 against Anaheim. Offense wasn't their issue yesterday against the Ducks. The problem was obviously, keeping the puck out of the net as they allow Anaheim to erase a 4-2 deficit and win that game 5-4 in a shootout. Like I said, the one thing I'll say about Vancouver is, their offense at times has been certainly capable. We've seen it. But again, they're giving up 3, 4, 5, 4, 8 in the last 5 games alone, where they've gone 1-4. So they have certainly had their share of issues. So like I said, I think when you look at this spot with the Canucks and the Kings, it's probably an opportunity for LA to find some offensive success. And remember, it still looks like a situation for the Canucks where Demko is on IR. Lankinen's still day-to-day. We don't know if he's going to rejoin the team tonight or not. I'm looking for the latest update here, and it looks like at the moment he might return, because I know RotoWire's got him as expected, so maybe there's a chance he returns. But one thing I can tell you too is the goalie expected for the Kings tonight's Anton Forsberg, and other than him, having a gem of a performance against his old team, the Ottawa Senators, in a 1-0 shutout win. Other than that, I don't think he's been anything that special or great in net for the Kings this year. So, yeah, over 6 for me here, -120. Alex, what do you think? Vancouver, LA.
Yeah, this one I'm gonna wait for live and try and get a 5.5 or 6 at an inflated plus price. But like I said, definitely can see goals going both ways. Can't back Vancouver right now. Even if it is Lankinen back, I still don't think that's going to be enough for them, even as a plus price to side with right now. This is still a sliding team, but definitely could see goals going both ways. So I would certainly, like I said, if you can get a 6, grab a piece of it now, but I would wait and go a little heavier with 5.5, or like I said, even 6, trying to get plus 120, plus 130 in game.
All right. Good stuff there. As far as props for me with Vancouver and LA, if you're willing to trust him, Evander Kane appears to be on the top line with Elias Pettersson and DeBrusk. So keep that in mind. There's certainly going to be value on his side of the equation. Hasn't been obviously anything to write home about this year for the Canucks. Fiala right now is with Byfield and Kempe on the top line right now for the LA Kings. Armia was in that spot, but he's kind of been shifted down. Corey Perry's never a bad option. Alex Laferriere is never a bad option too. He's been obviously pretty good here in the month of November, and he scored a goal yesterday against the Anaheim Ducks. So definitely something to keep in mind. And there it is, Forsberg. I think he did win one game though, Jonathan. Forsberg 0-4 with a 5.08 goals against. He did win one game, and that was that game against Ottawa. In Ottawa on that road trip, he faced his former team, and he won that game. He played well, and that was definitely by far the best start he's had all year. But really, other than that, it hasn't been great. He gave up 5 goals to Florida, gave up 3 goals last game on just 24 shots when he started against San Jose. So, like I said, it's been an issue. Oh, that's his record against Vancouver. My bad. That 0-4, 5.08 is against Vancouver for Anton Forsberg. Good stuff. All right. That's a wrap. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Like I said, I don't know what's happened today. I thought I was turning a corner with this damn illness, and today the voice gremlins and the throat gremlins and the coughing gremlins are getting me a little bit. But that's okay. Making it on through, pushing on forward. Make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com. What a massive weekend. I mean, there's so much going on. NFL tomorrow, college football, final day of the regular season today. NHL, NBA, college basketball, all going on. So make sure you get on board. What a roster of handicappers. I'm there, Alex, Matt Robinson. Check them all out, wizardsportspicks.com. I'll be back doing the Beyond the Lines video series, the Wizard Sports Picks YouTube channel for Sunday. So make sure you check that out late tonight and tomorrow. Talking some NFL games on the board tomorrow. So again, check it all out, wizardsportspicks.com. And also patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, all the bonus content. Make sure you check it out. Plus, of course, our daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. We're going to have another Patreon exclusive live betcast in December as well. We'll be announcing the date of that and the free-for-all betcast in the month of December next week sometime. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So make sure you check it out. Patreon.com/Ice Guys, $10 per month. Your subscription goes a long way to supporting the show long term. $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You got 2 days left to save on the Black Friday sale. It's 30% off all orders that are $70 or more. So this is a great time to stock up, get some items for yourself, for friends, for family, gifts under the Christmas tree. As the holidays are right around the corner. This is now a great time to take advantage of that sale. 30% off all orders, $70 or more right now. That's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Where the kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check it out, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with the promo code IceGuys. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this Saturday slate. Alex, what do you like for bargain bin special?
Yeah, we got an original six matchup. You got Boston taking on Detroit, and I'm looking at a Bruin player. I'll be looking at Casey Middlestat. Moving up to that second line, get him anytime goal scorer, plus 390 over at BetMGM. JD mentioned in the chat he's had 11 points in 13 games against the Red Wings, so maybe you can take a shot with him plus 2 points as well. But I do like him to get a goal. Plus 390 for Casey Middlestat. That's my Saturday bargain bin special.
All right, there you go, Casey Middlestat. For the Boston Bruins for bargain bin special for Alex. My bargain bin special of the night for this, actually it's of the day because it's actually one of the day games that I'm going to go to for bargain bin special. Top line, finally found the back of the net yesterday. Zach Bolduc for an old friend, an old bargain bin friend. I've used him a couple of times, more so when he was with St. Louis. I'm not sure I've had him as a bargain bin special yet since he's been with Montreal, but I'm going to rock with him today. Plus 375 for Zach Bolduc for the Montreal Canadiens, still on their top line. So Bolduc for Montreal, plus 375 for my bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Yeah, let's go with that late game in Vegas and San Jose. Like I said, with a Lindbaum start, I feel confident that the Sharks can get 3 goals here. So give me that Sharks team total over 2.5, plus 120. It's my Saturday best bet.
San Jose team total over 2.5, plus 120. Best bet for Alex. My best bet, let's go with side and total. Same game, side and total. I'm going to go with Winnipeg, minus 125, and I'm also going to go Winnipeg, Nashville, over 6, minus 110. I like both, side and total. I think the Jets get their offense going. Useless Onanen is horrible. This Preds defense is still lackluster. I think the Jets finally score some goals, and all the talk the last couple days, and I'm sure it will be again after only scoring 1 goal yesterday, is we got to get our going offensively. I think this is the right opponent to do it, and I think they win the game. Nashville will score too because, look, the Jets are giving up goals, and Comrie's allowed 3+, but I see this as 4-3, 5-4, 5-3 Winnipeg, something like that. Jets get the win. This is a step down in class after playing Carolina twice, Minnesota, and it's been a tough schedule for this Winnipeg team. And I think now they take advantage, like I said, a bit of a step down for them. So Winnipeg minus 125, Winnipeg, Nashville over 6. 2 best bets, one side, one total. here for this Saturday NHL card. That's a wrap. Shout out to everyone. We appreciate you guys joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week. Monday, later start time, 3:30 Eastern. Tuesday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. Oh, I need to point this out. Monday, my college football show with CMAC, there's only 9 games. It's conference championship week. So we will not be 3:30 this week. We're going to be earlier. We may not be right at 2 p.m. Eastern, but probably by 2:30 p.m. Eastern at the latest, we'll be ready to go on Monday. So much closer to the regular start time on Monday, which will be great. So approximately 2:30 is what I'll set it at right now for the Monday show coming up this week. So appreciate that. Thanks to everyone for joining us. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back tomorrow on Sunday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.